Live.
We are. I got the pop-up this time.
Nice. All right. Very good. Well, welcome back. Thanks as always for joining. I should just go ahead and make sure that I introduce you in case anyone's joined. Like we always talk about, I don't know if people have joined yet, or it takes a minute, right? I think to get some folks onto this live. So anybody who is currently live with us, thank you so much for being here. Anybody who's, watching this after the fact, either here on LinkedIn or on YouTube, where we also, these videos are also live streaming and then of course posted forever. I'm joined by Kelly Sanchez. My name is, of course, Scotty John. I'm joined by Kelly Sanchez, the head of talent acquisition at DigiCert, my bi-weekly conversation partner for, topics related to recruiting, talent acquisition, careers, just kind of, that's our wheelhouse, right? So today we're going to be talking about how to recruit internal recruiters, so to speak. So in other words, as anybody who's hiring can do this, but especially for us recruiters, trying to find other individuals in the organization that are going to be willing and able, and I would argue you should try and convert everybody that works for your organization into this person, but basically trying to find other people to support recruiting efforts. So that we'll explain a little bit more about the premise here in just a second. As always, Kelly is going to lead off with an icebreaker question here. As I try to multitask and go find the screen to follow your guys' comments and questions. So on that note, any comments or questions, I'm following this live on LinkedIn. Please pop them into the comments section. They can be related to our topic today, of course, but they could also be related to all things recruiting. So Kelly, thanks as always. I'm going to put myself on mute. I'll be right back here.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So we start all of our live LinkedIn lives with an intro question. So this week, let's see what we got. Keeping up with the Joneses has never been harder. More than any other, what item do you lack that has you thinking that perhaps you have fallen behind the Joneses? So it should be updated. I think it should be like keeping up with like the Jonases brothers, because they're rich too, right? The modern version. Okay, so this will be a shock to you, Scotty. So I have no car. My last car I leased, and that was in May. So instead of buying a new car, because I've been working remote, me and my partner have been sharing his car. So I'm definitely not keeping up with the Joneses because I am carless. Not even like a cheap car, like zero. I have nothing. So that is, yes, I'm falling behind or saving money. I don't, however you want to see it, but that's me. Did I give you enough time? Maybe I can think of another one.
No, you're good. I just for the top or the comment I just typed up, hopefully it didn't have any, I was struggling there. There was going to be a bunch of misspellings, et cetera. I think hopefully it makes sense. This is a topic it's actually kind of, sneakily difficult to describe exactly what I mean. Because if I say recruiting recruiters, we think about like hiring recruiters. Yeah. And again, the topic, just to be clear for those of you who are just joining us, that we're talking about today is essentially enlisting the help of employees at your organization and people who aren't professional recruiters to be recruiters, quote unquote, honorary recruiters, brand ambassadors, and employment brand ambassadors specifically. Joined by Kelly Sanchez, the head of talent acquisition at DigiCert. She just asked a question, and then that was surprising. I think last time I was at your house, Kelly, you did have a car. Yeah. So that's a story for maybe we'll have to chat about offline. And happy to hear Christian's willing to help you out there. That's fantastic. Not surprising, of course. He doesn't have a choice, does he? Anyway. He doesn't. Well, cool. So yeah, that was surprising. I'm glad you didn't steal my thunder because I thought, what if she has the same one I'm going to have? So this is somewhat tongue in cheek, but this is real for me right now. I think the world is changing a lot, needless to say. And in terms of something that I don't have, that I kind of feel like is a I don't know, signal or a status symbol, so to speak, that I might someday want, you're going to think this is ridiculous.
Oh my God, I'm excited. I don't even know where you're going to go with this.
So those that are watching may or may not be familiar with the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I was made aware of the Bored Ape Yacht Club a little late. And when I saw what the price was then, I was like, yeah, right. That being said, I think the price since then's gone up, I don't know, like 10 times. And we're talking about the floor price for just a single Bored Ape, right? So these are NFTs. These are, again, a status symbol. You see them, celebrities, athletes, the who's who, so to speak. It's no longer a yacht or, a boat just generally. It looks to be a cartoon ape. So anyhow, all jokes aside, because frankly, I don't know that I'd ever spend the money on one of those, even if I had the money to spend. I don't know. I might, honestly. I'm dipping a toe in the NFT and Web3 space. So that's, again, a topic for another day. All jokes aside, honestly, we're about to move back into our 900 square foot cabin. We've been living in a rental for it'll be 5 years by the time we move back, which is, only about double that size, but my family of four. And I love one of the comments here with regard to the Bored Ape Yacht Club is they're working on purchasing their own yacht, FYI, which makes perfect sense. Probably through a DAO, if I had to guess, Joe. Joe, thanks for joining. He's the guy who I have to give a shout out. He's the guy who got me into Web3. So thank you, because seriously, it's been fun, and I owe it to you, man. Anyway, we're moving into a very small place. So a family of four shoved into 900 square feet. I'm not saying it's too small, but I'm definitely not keeping up with the Joneses just in terms of like your average size house, Kelly.
You're going backwards in square footage.
Indeed. And the hope for us is that we can do some sort of an addition, but of course, given the state of the world, we'll see how and if that happens at all. But anyway, all right, good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. So no car, small house. Yeah, we're definitely going backwards.
No kidding. Well, hey, you know what? There's such a thing as minimalism, and maybe we're headed that direction. I don't know. I'm certainly excited about getting rid of some of the stuff that we have. Anyway.
Yeah. Another topic.
Indeed. So again, for anyone who's just joining us, or for those of you who haven't quite gotten a sense of exactly what it is we're talking about today, our topic today is how to enlist employees at your organization. If you're a hiring manager or a recruiter, how to enlist their help to essentially be a recruiter as well, right? Or an employment brand ambassador, essentially just people who want to help your organization hire. And from what we're seeing, most organizations out there have a big demand, a big need to hire, and they are, struggling. We're all struggling to find talent, it seems right now. So that's kind of the premise of what we want to discuss today. Kelly, did I miss anything on that premise? Any clarification or thing that you would add to that?
No, I like the fact that you're saying, hey, how do we enlist, the people? Because we're not trying to recruit recruiters.
Right. Yes, indeed. That's another topic, maybe for another day. But to your point, it's individuals in the organization that can do some things we're going to talk about that can help the recruiting team and any hiring manager who has a need right now to find people. So we're going to try to take somewhat of a systematic approach to this conversation. And we're going to just start off by talking about the practical aspect of it. So the activities that people can do, again, anybody that works for your organization can do to help recruit individuals into your organization? So Kelly, what would you say are some of the common activities that we can ask employees at a company who are not professional recruiters to do to help recruit?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the first one that comes to mind is employee referral program. There's some companies that have it. There's some companies that don't. The companies that do, get involved, be a part of it, be an active person in it. But if you don't have it, talk to your talent acquisition counterparts on what maybe a good candidate looks like, and have those conversations. And we'll get into more of the details of what that looks like, but just wanted to throw that out there, that the first one that comes to mind is an employee referral program.
Yeah, to your point, and I'm glad you brought it up, because frankly, I had that on my list of things to discuss a little farther down the line here. But you bring up a really good point. Not everybody has a formal, employee referral program. And I guess just to define what we mean by that, essentially that means, compensating people who refer qualified candidates. In other words, people that get hired at the organization. That compensation can be cash compensation, a bonus. It could be perks. There's a lot of different ways to do it depending on your budget, et cetera. But I think that's a great point. Bring the idea to the employee, to the talent acquisition group. If you guys don't have a formal employee referral program today, that's a great idea for them to try to work on and implement. I don't want to volunteer Kelly too much, but I know you've implemented this before, and certainly you and I, when we worked at CHG, we focused a ton on ours. It was super helpful. So she's an expert, just so you guys know. Real quick, Kelly, before we get to some other activities here that we can ask people to do, I just want to mention to anybody who's just joining us, I've got Kelly Sanchez, the head of talent acquisition at DigiCert. I'm, of course, Scotty John. You're watching us live on LinkedIn, possibly live on YouTube, though I doubt it. Appreciate you joining. Today, we're talking about how to enlist employees at your organization to help you recruit. So whether you're a recruiter at your organization or a hiring manager, and you're having some tough, some challenges, we all are, finding people, this is just how we can get other people in our organization to help us out. What other activities, Kelly, if you don't have any other ideas, I'm sure you do, but if you don't, I have some ideas. But what else do you think we can do or we can ask people to do on our behalves?
The one other thing that comes to mind is talk about your work. Like if you're happy and you're passionate about what you're doing, just tell people about it. You don't need to be the expert. You're not trying to ask them all the interview questions and screen them. Like that's what we're here for. Right. But if you actually like the position and the company and the purpose or whatever it is, like share what you like about it. Like that's all we're asking. Just get the conversation going. Totally.
No, that's exactly it. So, and that's the best way to put it in terms of how to put it simply, right? So what that can mean. So first and foremost, a lot of people who are not in like a sales job or aren't familiar with sales, or for that matter, recruiting, may not be familiar with what's referred to as an elevator pitch. Mm-hmm. So I would say, make sure you come up with your elevator pitch. What does your company do? And the premise of the elevator pitch is you could share this in an elevator ride. So you've got like 30 seconds or a minute to discuss what does your company do and why someone would want to work for the company, right? That could be as simple as I love it, and you would too. But here's what they do, here's what we do, I should say. Having that kind of dialed in and being prepared is really key. And then the next thing would be, to your point, Kelly, IRL, right? In real life, we're talking to our friends and our family and our networks, et cetera, but also social media, right? LinkedIn, of course, we're biased. Here we are, but you could do it anywhere: Facebook, Twitter. For the Web3 crowd out there, Discord, Twitch. There are plenty of social media avenues that you can talk about your company and why people might want to work for it. So yeah, that's, I think, in terms of activities that people can actually do. I think we've kind of covered the bases there. Again, any questions or comments, please drop them into the comment section here. But let's move on to next step. So I guess the next step is, you mentioned this, and I want to focus on it a little bit. If you are really happy, right? Yeah. So that's a key qualifier here. For those of us in talent acquisition, for those of us that are hiring managers, the reality is we probably want to focus on the people that we know in our organization that are like the cultural ambassadors and are really happy at work, right? Any tips for how to identify those people, Kelly?
I hopefully you can just see it. They come into work, they're happy. You have the conversations. They've been engaged, or not engaged, tenured, been there for a long time. So what's holding them there? Why have they been there for such a long time? And maybe have them share their story. So those are things that I would look for.
Totally. Yeah. And to your point, engaged, people who are, taking on additional responsibilities outside of their day job, maybe volunteering to lead committees or work on special projects. That's a great way to tell when someone's happy and, willing to do this. Again, the whole purpose here is to have these individuals who are already really happy. And again, we hope most of the people that we work with are in that boat. But the reality is not everyone is. So you do want to cherry pick a little bit the people that are going to help, and then have them simply share what it is they love about where you work. And, and to go above and beyond, share, hey, by the way, my colleague is hiring here's the position, et cetera. So I think in terms of, there's a lot to cover and we've covered a lot of it just at a high level. I want to really quick again, solicit those of you watching. If you have questions or comments here, feel free to drop them in. I want to make sure anybody who just joined knows that Kelly Sanchez, the head of talent acquisition at DigiCert, and Scotty John, needless to say, we're talking about how to enlist employees at our organization to help us recruit. Whether you're a hiring manager or a recruiter, there's a lot of folks that work for your company that aren't, and they can help. So, Kelly, this is maybe needless to say right now, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Why is it important?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we need your guys' help. There's not enough recruiters out there. And seriously, you guys know people, as much as we want to recruit and find the best talent, your neighbor could be someone, or your partner, they may have something. They may be having a bad day. Like, I can tell you a story from when I was recruited. They called me on a bad day, and I was like, you know what? You actually caught me on a good day. I will listen to you. So be that friend to check in on your friends and see how they're doing, because you just never know. They may have told you no the first time around, but a couple months later, like, actually, yeah, I remember you talking about how cool your company was. I'm ready to hear you out. But yeah, right now we just need all the help that we can get, really. So
well, to your point,
begging.
No, not at all. Again, I think that hopefully the whole purpose of what we're doing here is to try to add value, right? And to try to maybe bring some ideas to the table that people haven't already thought about. You're absolutely right. Recruiters are in demand right now. What I do for a living as a third-party recruiter, people pay me to find them talent. Like, it's that big of a need. And the business I'm in, the industry that I'm in, is extremely large. The staffing industry, it's huge. So this is a huge need. But to your point, Kelly, and I'll just volunteer this information. It was close to 80% of the people that we hired when we worked together at CHG Healthcare were employee referrals. Yeah. There were people that our current employees brought in, or at least made aware of the positions. So it can be extremely effective. And this, again, with like a decent referral formal referral program, but not like a Google level, not like $5,000 per person hired kind of referral program. So It was just because we had a pretty engaged and happy workforce at a company that really valued the company culture, which again, something that, we'll have to talk about. We'll have to devote a LinkedIn Live topic to in the future. Not nearly enough time to talk about that here. I think that's it. I mean, it's a little earlier than normal for wrapping up here, but if anybody, we've gotten a lot of super positive comments. Thank you so much to everybody who's made a comment. Appreciate you. Kelly, people are saying you're the best. So
I know. I'm just kidding. Thank you.
And but again, just one last call for questions. Any questions as it relates to this topic? Any questions as it relates to the job market, the state of recruiting, how to be get seen as an applicant, anything like that? You've got two experienced recruiters willing to answer them, and I feel like there's a comment. I don't know if there's a question. I'm going to take a quick look, Kelly, and see.
Yeah. And no, just to reiterate what Scotty's saying, a lot of these topics come from your guys' questions and DMs. So yes, we're definitely love to see what's on your mind, so we can talk about it for the next time we meet.
And I got to just say, a shout out to the people who watch this live feed and participate in real time. A comment that we just got is such a good point. So again, this comment was from Joe. Shout out to Joe already for the Web3 intro, but Joe is also my boss at my last company and just a phenomenal leader and a great recruiter. And this is what he had to say. That's a little bit different, I think, than, it's just a different way of viewing what we're talking about today. You've already established the trust and relationships. It takes recruiters a longer time to build because there's more ground to cover. If you're happy where you work and you talk to those around you about it, it's received differently than from a recruiter they don't know. It's a foot in the door. And it's such a good point. I mean, and the flip side, or not the flip side, but an additional, just kind of elephant in the room on this is recruiters are incentivized. That's our job. Our job is to hire you. Right. So I'm making Joe blush now. Sounds like it's okay, Joe. No one can see you. But yeah, it's our job, and we have a vested interest. Mm-hmm. When you're sharing your experience and how much you love your organization, that's all it is. It's a matter of fact, right? So anyway, hopefully this has been useful. I think it's been a big old love fest. So
well, good. We just had Valentine's Day. It's
in honor of Valentine's Day. Yes. All right. Well, good deal. Like I said, if there's any last minute questions, you can pop them into the comments. Otherwise, I think we can wrap this up. Kelly Sanchez, head of talent acquisition at DigiCert. And of course, Scotty John, you're on my LinkedIn page. Thanks again for joining us. Kelly, any last words of wisdom before we jump off here?
No, this was great. This was fun. I'll get a car here soon, hopefully. Probably not.
Don't make me admit that I didn't do anything for my Valentine. She didn't do anything for me either. So
I didn't say that. I'm just saying, I'm talking about to the Joneses. I didn't say anything about Valentine's.
Oh, car. I thought you said a card.
Oh, a car. Like I don't have a car.
Well, now I'm blushing because I just volunteered information that I did not need to. All right. Yeah, Kelly.
Right, we're done. Bye, guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Good luck finding a used car in this market. Maybe you'll get a new one. But good luck with that. I'll keep wishing about the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And in the meantime, maybe I can do an addition on my house. They cost about the same. So,
right. Yeah.
Actually, I think the Bored Ape costs a lot more. Let's be real. All right. Thanks again, Kelly, for joining. Thanks to everyone for being on the live. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Sounds good. Okay. Bye.